I was listening to a show, and this is about money and relationships.
Okay.
For us, man, woman, relationships, because we're married.
Mhm.
The woman, let me. I'm the breadwinner. You are my house husband. She disrespected him.
Dang.
Didn't really respect him
Called him a
bec-
house cat. God.
because she made 5 times more than he did.
I'm running some math. Okay. Okay.
She was in tech and he was a PhD student.
That's not fair though if he's a student,
Okay, that's fine.
but
But
still.
but if you're married, okay. So when you hear that, where did your mind go? And I have my thoughts and I will go from there.
Man, first of all, I'm just skeptical anytime anything's done on a public platform because, okay, is she just on there auditioning for a new man?
No,
Because
no, 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 no. It was they both were sitting right there. So it wasn't she wasn't by herself. He wasn't by himself.
that's what
And
I'm saying. He right there and she's right there physically, but mentally she already clocked out. Like, I'm done with this dude. Like, I'm really on here just so someone else can scoop me out. You never know. But okay, I'm gonna give her the
mm,
benefit of the doubt of nah, she's up there really genuinely trying to work things out because I didn't see it. But it to me, it just seems like a lack of teamwork. It's because especially once you're married. Now, pre-marriage, I don't want to say it's a solo race, but it's two individuals coming together and y'all are trying to figure out things. But once you're married, it's like a spirit of teamwork. I think it should be. It should be. I mean, I can't speak to. I'm very biased. I'm speaking to people that met when they were young, and you know what I'm saying, like kind of building together. It, Now it's a whole different scenario if like they met later on in life. She already was making money and stuff like that. I don't know the context. I don't know if he got debt. I don't know. I don't know any of this. But regardless, once y'all decided to say I do to each other, then that's when all the labels of who's the breadwinner and the it just gives me the vibe of using money as because you know how people say money is the root of all evil. That's not true to me. But money can be manipulated. You know what I'm saying? Money can be manipulated if you are already evil or you have evil feelings inside. Money's just a vessel. And so in that moment, if she wanted to demean him, money was the easiest way to do it. If she wanted to humiliate him or make him feel some type of way, bringing that up was the easiest way to do it. And so, like I said, that just screamed no teamwork, lack of cooperation, and it's just miscommunication somewhere in there clearly between them two.
okay, so let's address the elephant in the room. As men, a lot of times we're deduced to our incomes.
Mm,
And if you don't make a lot of money, sometimes it could be perceived that you don't have any value.
mm.
However, I just always focus and tell people, especially men, you got to keep pushing. You got to get your bread up. And it's not from because people aren't going to say that you're not valuable. Like you just need to push and push because if your woman pushing and she just like pushing harder than you, it's going to be hard for her to have that respect for you. And that's just real talk. Whether it's right, wrong, or indifferent, you want you want your wife to look up to you. To you're the leader, you're the head of the household. You want her to be inspired by you. They want to be inspired by you. And when you're not doing everything that you can do, sometimes there's some resentment there. And because sometimes, let's keep it real, sometimes they actually may see the potential in you. And so they're taking a chance on you because they see the potential, but that potential has to eventually be materialized. and whatever that vision is they saw for you, like they see that, oh yeah, that's he got potential. But if that potential doesn't get materialized, it's gonna be rough for you, buddy.
Mm.
It's that's about as real as I can be. Um, so
And
when
that,
I heard it, I heard, dang, she don't like most most times you would like most times it's just an internal thought, but
mm,
the fact that she spoke it out loud,
you let
she
it out.
really don't respect you. Like
Mm.
like the disrespect is blatant.
In public though.
Like
And you know what? Actually, I think that's a really good point, and that goes back to like that. Like that's when I say communication. That almost points out to me that she'd been wanting to say that, and maybe she just hadn't had the chance. She maybe didn't feel comfortable. You know what I'm saying? Like,
no, she said that that's one of the things he brought up. Like he brought it up in the
mm,
public forum, and she said, "Yeah, I said that."
so, oh, he brought it up.
Yeah, he
Okay,
brought it up, and so obviously that hurt him, right? Like he felt hurt by
okay,
her saying that. And I'm not, and we're not looking to dump on her. Like, dang, bro, like
right,
get your
okay,
bread up. Like, make like, what can you do to get better? Like, what can you do to
yeah.
improve that? But he's a PhD student, so hopefully that's going to transfer to something. But
I didn't know he brought it up though. Okay, that
now he
changes.
brought it up in terms of because it was someone facilitating the conversation. The good part is hopefully they were working on getting better.
Right.
But we're reacting to
Mhm.
I'm the breadwinner, you are my house husband. That is blatant disrespect.
That's crazy.
and
It is.
it's we laughing, but it's like, dang. Ooh.
Right. And so that makes me, I'm gonna ask, that's why I want to ask you, because like my thing just keeps going back to communication. He should, for it to have hurt him, he didn't know she felt like that when she said it the first time. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He didn't, I'm putting it back on him. You should know before you've even got married. I'm not saying, I don't know when she first said these things or, but when they were married or not, he should have like a temperature check. There should, so I guess what I'm trying to ask you is, as you're leading into marriage or, hey, you're already married, let's say you're already married. How can you work together? Especially let's say you're a man looking to maximize your career. How do you communicate this? How do you do it? How do you attack this as a team instead of attacking each other like these two seems like they might have done? Because it's an easy thing to do. You know what I'm saying? To as a young married couple, I can speak to that. Like for me, I'm very intentional on making sure that we attack things together. Because if you don't do that, if you plan to fail, you fail to plan, or whatever the phrase is, and now you end up attacking each other. So how do you prevent that?
Yeah. How do you prevent that?
Financially, like in the context of finances and ambition and your career building, how do you both build your careers cooperatively and not feel like one's leaving the other behind or one is like, because if you, I can see how having two different levels of ambition can like that's or just having any type of mismatch financially or anything and not communicating on it. That's it'll come up eventually.
You have to be on the same page. And how do you get there? It takes time. Through now, if we're talking pre, then naturally you probably need to get counseling, and then part of the counseling is talking about finances, talking about upbringing, talking about all those things, talking about what was your upbringing with finances, what is your upbringing, what is your credit score, what is your current income, or how do you feel about that? Like getting it out on the table, because a lot of times what happens is people are having these thoughts. The dude is thinking something, his girl is thinking something, and no one is saying anything about it. It's just like we're just pretending like this isn't a thing, and time is just going on, and the resentment is built, and so all of a sudden the person has an outburst, and it's like, whoa, that's how you feel? Like, no, it's probably how they've been feeling. It just they thought it was magically gonna get better without working on it. Like, and so there was some expectations that you just didn't know was there.
Mm,
And so when mentoring or coaching dudes, it's like, hey, look, it's better to go ahead and focus on your finances first so you don't put yourself in that vulnerable state of being disrespected in that way. But then also making sure you choose a partner that, like, once y'all come together, it's we, it's
Mm.
us moving forward. What happens is sometimes people get together and technically it was incompatible. Like, and it was a love thing, and we pretend like it was a love thing, and we just ignored all of the other signs where I wasn't interested. And to be fair, because you had to think on, like, think, okay, so put in this perspective of, like, say, go future, say there's a little baby Kiana, little baby maybe that might not be the right word, but like, let's say you have a little Kiana. I have a little niece, right?
Right, right.
Would you want your daughter talking to a dude that's broke?
I couldn't say I would.
So I know that sound harsh to hear, right?
It does.
Now, what it is different from meeting early, you see he's on the come up, went to school, got a good career trajectory, and it's just you're just young and you're just at the beginning of your career, but there's promise. Like, you have a plan, you have a roadmap. That's not broke. That's you just on your come up,
Mm.
but you got a plan and a vision. Now, for that person, would you be okay with little Kiana? Would you be like, I'm okay with that?
It's that's a good question. Like for me, man, you got me thinking about stuff I ain't even thought about before. Like how I would even approach my kids dating. Like if they brought home this guy, or if my daughter brought home this guy. Man, like I guess it also depends on where my daughter is. So that's what I think my first thought. Where is my daughter in her journey? I think they just have to match. Their journeys have to make sense. Like you can't be, and not even about like, oh, my daughter's going to get manipulated, but also I just don't think it'll last. Like you said, you have to be compatible in a sense. You can't be, to make the example, you can't be at on an eighth grade reading level dating somebody on a PhD reading level. You get what I'm saying? Like, or on a financial level. Like it's some. I think there's just some gaps that's too hard to play catch up.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. I think it comes back to communication. Sometimes you didn't grow up seeing it, on the guy side or the female side, but at the same time, that's not an excuse. You got to start working towards, if you want to be together,
Mm-hmm.
you got to start working towards not being selfish and not making things about you. And a telltale sign every time I'm coaching is when a person is saying, she won't do this, or he won't do this, or my finances. And like when they're talking on it, like individually,
Mm-hmm.
that's a quick telltale sign of, like, okay, you're not on the same page because you married and you're talking about you. Like, you're talking about, well, I ain't got no debt.
Oh, what?
She got debt. I ain't got no. I'm like, nah, brother.
That's the law.
Y'all got debt.
Yeah,
Or, man, I'm doing all this work. I make this much. She make that much. I said, no, 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 no.
that's true.
Y'all make this amount. But you got that's a whole mindset in itself. The fact that you immediately go, I make this, you make that. So, like, you can already tell there's some separation there, and sometimes there's some resentment in there. What the scenario we was talking about, it was female disrespecting the guy, but on the other side, that happens too, where there's some expectations and sometimes very unrealistic expectations of, okay, you, your wife is working, you're working, but you want her to be a traditional wife. Like,
Mm-hmm.
can she lean in and do some things? Sure, but, like, bro, she out there with you working. Like,
Right. Yeah.
maybe y'all might need to, and if y'all want to kind of assume some of those traditional roles, but she still might need help. Maybe she may need some help. Like, maybe y'all might need to get someone that comes and clean up here and there. Maybe, like, relieving some pressure somewhere. Like, and for every couple, y'all got to figure out what y'all dynamic is and what works. So it doesn't necessarily have to be the traditional thing. But
Uh,
sometimes there's some expectations that you may have, and it's like, bro, she just worked 50 hours. Like,
right.
to have that expectation on her, it's kind of, uh,
Right.
it's kind of, you may have to like work with her to see
Yeah.
what y'all can do. And so, like, these are the things that maybe people don't think about, because we're not in the 1950s and we're not in the 60s where, like, for us, like, we seen our grandmother not, like, well, our grandfather passed, but like, this ain't that day.
Right. It's
Like,
not.
most middle class people are working. Like, and most middle class couples are working. And if you have retired your person, you're a very small percentage. Like, it's not a lot of people that live that type of life. And to be honest with you, sometimes your wife don't want to do that. Like, so, and so it's just a matter of talking, communication, talking through some of those things. But I just thought that this the mature talk, right? This is, you can get into some of that crazy stuff that's on the internet, but it's like, if you're trying to like have a sustainable relationship, like, y'all gotta talk, man. Y'all, like, like, I know a lot of this stuff is sensationalized or it's like for clicks and run up the numbers and, oh, it's her fault, or oh, it's his fault, and this and
Yeah.
that. And it does get a lot of likes and views. I ain't gonna lie to you. But
Right.
that's just not the direction that we're going on. We're promoting togetherness. We're promoting accountability on both sides. And but what you'll find is people that's marriage minded, they understand that.
Mm.
Now, it's a difference between somebody being married and they were selfish, they're gonna stay selfish, and so they be disrespecting their partners, and they probably shouldn't have gotten married. And to your point, it's not gonna last.
Right. It's man, like I like the point that you made about like trying to meet each other halfway, like recognizing, like, say, this is not that day. Like women legally weren't even allowed to work, I think, until it was just a different time. And so now women is definitely working, and so you got to be cognizant of that. Like for example, me and my wife, she does all the cooking, but she doesn't touch a dish. I'll do all the cleaning, but I don't touch no pots and pans. I just, what I'm saying, that's our agreement. And you got to figure out how to help each other out. Because it would, like I said, it would not be fair for either of us to expect each other to go do the work that we do and then go do all of that afterwards, put in a whole nother shift. But I think that just for that segment, and just to for the men out there that's listening, that I mean, I could find yourself in a similar situation where it's like, oh, I'm with a woman that's earning, and I'm either on the way or I'm just not there. I guess here's what I'm thinking. Here's my immediate thoughts is just number one, you need to keep running your race. And maybe use her as inspiration to figure out, she can figure it out. Maybe she can help me figure it out. Or maybe I can look for inspiration, but you need to make sure you keep running your race. Don't slow down. I'm not gonna say catch up, because like I said, y'all together, so it's not even about like catch up, but it's about hold your weight. I guess I'll put it like that. Make sure that you're doing whatever you can to hold your weight. First, my first thought of that is just financially try to figure out a way to bring more money in, because it's just great to have two. There's nothing wrong with doubling. Who wouldn't want double the income? But also figure out a way to, in the meantime, be a better resource outside of just money. Like, I'm not saying either or. Don't do either or. Keep running your race. Please keep running. I'm gonna keep this thing real. Keep running your race. Keep running up that money. But then also, regardless, figure out how. Because if your wife already is bringing it in, you need to figure out ways to either help y'all grow that money. You know what I'm saying? Be a good steward of that money, or just take stresses off of her. That because if she bringing in that type of money, she probably got some type of stress that comes along with it. You know what I'm saying? And so my thing is just don't. I guess what I'm really trying to say is, like you said, it could be so easy in a situation to just almost hit the eject button as a man. Like, nah. People gonna look at me funny. I think she looking at me funny, and you'll what's the word when they call it? You'll self prophesize your way out of that relationship. But if you
Mm.
really want to make it work, ignore all that, keep running your race, focus 10 times harder on how to make your income grow, and focus on how to just make the relationship work. You know what I'm saying? And figure out how to meet her where she needs. Do you need to do some dishes too? Like, I hope you ain't expecting her to bring in 250K and do the dishes. You done lost your mind.
All right, so my perspective, and we'll close. One, you need to identify a men's group
I like that.
Get some life coaching, get some career coaching of someone that's where you want to be, and they just help you start putting the pieces together. That way you can start getting some traction, and then it's not gonna be easy. It's gonna take some time, but it's not meant to be easy. Don't assign a difficulty to it. It's gonna be new. Don't defeat yourself before you start. And where you are is where you are. But it's not okay to stay where you are, especially if you're saying, "Hey, I do want to make more money." Okay, well, maybe you need to. These are the areas that make more money. Okay, which one resonates with you? That one? Okay, cool. Now let's reverse engineer it and bring it back to the present because if you're working, you're probably making money. You probably can't just automatically say, all right, stop and go in that direction. Sometimes it needs to be a slow transition to where you're going. Are you saddled with debt? Because it's a KB money show. And so what happens is when you got debt to your eyeballs and you throw that in the mix of all this, that's when it gets challenging. That's when it gets really challenging, but it's still possible. And so obviously we're gonna bring some hope. You can get there. You just got my point is you gotta have a plan, and your way hadn't been working. So you need to find some resources, find someone that is working it, is real, and get some guidance because your plan not working. And so you need to be self accountable for what your current results are, irregardless to what your wife have going on.
Mhm.
And that way you can even bring more value. Yeah, you can wash the dishes, but let's keep it real. Like maybe and if you say I need to make more money, okay, well let's figure out how to do that. And let's not play games. Let's just it's gonna be a journey, but that's what it is. Let's just not play games with it. Um, and let's just make sure we're doing everything that we're designed to do as a man because guess what? We know what it is. Like we're on a public forum, but you know what it is as a man. Like the majority of y'all out there are men listening, so you know what it is. So
Yeah.
don't play games with it. We not. I know, bro. Say wash them dishes. Nah, go make that money. We're not playing. We're not doing that.
I
Like
said do both. Do both now.
okay, do both, but let's be clear. Go make that money and you'll feel better about yourself. But also get your fitness together as well, and then get your faith up. That way you can, have something to lean on when times get tough. So while you leaning on God as you working through your plan, and you praying over your family, praying over your wife, hopefully working on her spirit and she ain't disrespecting you like old girl was. And everything is gonna be all right. And what's that song? We gonna be all right. What's that song?
That
Yeah.
Kendrick.
Yeah. Okay, that's Kendra. Okay, I ain't even know. Okay.